on all accounts.
Brilliant.
Happy days. Thanks very much for coming on to the Ground Zero podcast.
Well,
the second one, I believe.
Yeah, well, thanks for inviting me. I've done one with, did one down in London, which was quite good. I enjoyed that with Gerard. He wrote a book about Afghanistan. He did quite well. I enjoyed that one, which was quite nice. And recently I've been doing a couple of Zoom calls, which has been interesting. And in a way, Zoom calls are a little bit, they're like this, but they're a little bit different because you get questions coming in from different people constantly, and it keeps your mind ticking. And
yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
So it's always a good thing to have questions thrown at you and what have you, to keep your mind focused on something else other than
there's no hiding
shit goes in. You know what I mean?
And there's no hiding from it. There's no hiding from the questions. They come at you at all angles, and you either tell the truth or everyone knows you're full of shit. Let's be honest.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, as soon as you slip up once, that's it. You've made a rod for your own back, haven't you? Definitely.
Exactly. Yeah. So
I must admit, I first thought to ask you to come on after I saw to use the youthful word, a bit of beef between you and a contestant from SAS Who Dares Wins. To quote the Black Lives Matter movement that's going on at the he seemed to not like one of your posts about. I was reading back through it, and he's taken that out completely out of context, completely, and the fact that he can't articulate himself to have a conversation with you, he just has to block and delete and what have you. That just shows the type of person that guy is. You know what I mean?
He sent me a vile message. I woke up in the morning and looked at it and went, "Oh, got a message from him." And then I checked it, and then he's blocked me straight away. He called me a racist. I can't remember the exact word. It's quite vile, but a racist guy, and who was calling black people animals. And the truth is, I said that anyone that riots and anyone that causes damage in the city, regardless of colour, is an animal. Is an animal, and I stand by that. And I don't care what colour or religion you are. I also put a post out which I stand by saying, when veterans want to march or people want to protest, they have to write into the local police. They have to get permission. They also have to have first aid and attendance. They have to have marshals. So I said, if you're going to have a movement like Black Lives Matter in the future, or any movement, you need to ensure you have marshals there so that whenever you have thugs that are going to try and discredit the march and cause damage, your marshals need to be straight in there, grip them and hand them to the police. And that way your protest doesn't lose what it's about. And
exactly.
And I agree with that, but I don't agree with all this shit. For instance, which I posted earlier on Twitter, I don't agree with this pressure being put on the police at the minute. Now you've got to bear in mind that they're being accused of racism and all the rest of it. And the thing is, last year the police in the UK only shot 2 people, and one of them was the London Bridge bomber. So the police deserve a break. Don't hound them 24/7.
Yeah, exactly.
We just went. Yeah, sorry. Go ahead.
Yeah, I 100% agree with you on that. And one thing that flags up in my head about it, I saw a post. I can't remember if it was on Twitter, Instagram, or whatever. And it might have even been on Facebook. But there's a set of 3 police officers that have stopped and detained a young black male. And the reason why they stopped him was they suspected that he had a knife. On searching, they discovered that he did have a knife on him, and that's why they did it. And the people that were filming him were shouting abuse at these poor police officers because they stopped him because he was black to start with, and basically because they weren't wearing the correct PPE was the other thing. So as soon as they discovered that he had the knife, and he said, "Look, this young man is knife on him. We're detaining him for this reason," playing up to the cameras a little bit, because as though they have to justify what they're doing all the time. And they were like, "Well, you shouldn't be stopping him. You haven't got gloves on," or something bone like that. It's like, fuck off, will you? Let them do their job. I'm quite good friends with a few police officers, and I was like, I don't think I could handle that much abuse that they get really for doing their job. That's not
Well,
what they sign up for.
Put this back. I don't know what's happened there. You're still there. Oh,
Yeah.
oh, what's happened to? I've still got you, but I don't know what's happened there.
Yeah, I've still got you, so it's all good. You still got the sound coming through.
Good. Share sound. What have I just done? Share screen. Share screen. Yes.
So we get it all the time on the Ground Zero podcast. There's always some sort of technical.
I'm back. Sorry.
I can see myself now.
Brilliant. I get. Yeah, it's weird how things change so much over the last couple of months. I just find it weird how this thing happened in America and it came over to the UK. Now, okay, the bottom line is racism will always exist by thugs, but not by the population. The UK, I think, has got it under a T. I grew up in Northern Ireland and there was no racism, it was religion. And we got through that, we passed that barrier. But whenever people are saying about Black Lives Matter, and I'm going to make this quite clear because I know that a lot of different colours and religions are going to watch this. Now, they're going about Black Lives Matter, Black Lives Matter. Well, we all know they do. But let me just make it quite clear in America what's happening. 367 million people live in America. 13% of that population is black. Yet 86% of the crimes that's carried out in America are carried out by black men. So whenever a police officer is going into a dangerous situation and it's a black man there, there's an 87% chance that he's going to commit a crime, that police officer. So that's why they're always on the edge. That is why they go in. They have to be heavy-handed because many times in the past they've walked away and been stabbed in the back or shot in the head. So whenever people are shouting Black Lives Matter, so do police officers, so do the public. So, you know, it's just another excuse to cause damage. And you've got to bear in mind, I think that people in the UK jumped on this. And the reason why they jumped on it is because they've been locked down for about 10 weeks. And this was an opportunity to get out the house and go fucking mental.
You've got it in one there, Trev. You've got it in one. Definitely. It's as though they needed that little spark to go, let's just go fucking mental.
Yes.
That's how it comes across. It's like there's all these things on the demonstration marches, and I know a lot of people on the conspiracy theory side of it think that this COVID-19 isn't all that, etc., etc. However, it's proven that it does kill people, and the government have set down these rules that you have to social distance, etc., etc. And you look at these aerial footages of these marches and things like that, and it's like, why aren't you going with what the government has said and social distancing, etc.? And you guys will be the first ones to be moaning and complaining when the lockdown continues for longer and we're all stuck in the house still. If for example the second wave does come back and hit us hard, which it could do. And I've got a pretty good example of a well thought out protest, march, demonstration, whatever you want to call it. I saw a clip of it on my Instagram from my hometown. I'm from Hereford originally, and they did a little march in the Hereford town centre. Everybody was spaced out. They all did the proper distancing when they all took the knee and things like that, which, if they're going to protest and do those sort of things, crack on. I'm not going to stop you. But it was all well done. There was no riots. There was no people smashing up the town centre. There was none of that. It was literally everybody in you did what they needed to do and then went out with the rest of their day. That's how it should be. Because I'm sure you, like myself, we both served in the military. We went off and fought so that we have these freedoms that we have over in this country, and we should all be appreciative of that sort of thing, that you have got the right to protest, etc. But just because you have the right to protest doesn't mean you have to go and smash up shops that people are trying to make a living out of. Madness.
Yeah, it's quite sad. I'm glad that the majority of the troubles stayed across the Atlantic. It didn't. There was the odd idiot in London, but There was the odd idiot in London, but places majority looked after. People that did do silly things down at the Centre in London, which we all got annoyed about, but that was actually cleaned up by the protesters. They cleaned that up. It wasn't ordinary people. It was protesters and people in the streets came together and they did that, which I thought was commendable. But we definitely do need to have more things done to protect our monuments. I know Dan McDevitt has spoken to the police in London, and in future demonstrations they're going to block off those type of monuments and make sure they're looked after. But I don't think they need to block them off. I just think they need to make sure that the CCTV cameras around there are working, and if you cause damage in London, then you pay for it. Simple. That's the only way you'll stop it. People start paying for it in their pocket.
100%, mate. 100%. 100%.
You froze there for a minute. Have you? Frozen. I think you frozen, mate. Ooh. I think you have frozen, my friend.
Yeah, I froze. I think
you're back now.
My signal went a bit funny, I believe.
Yeah, it happens all the time, honestly.
It's as though as soon as I press record, it all goes peak tong on me. I can't remember what I was saying. Oh yeah, that was what I was saying. I think a lot of people have basically jumped on the bandwagon a little bit with this Black Lives Matter, and then other people will get their back up and say, well, no, all lives matter, and it's as though it doesn't matter what you say, you're going to offend someone, and someone's still going to back at you. I had an argument with two people yesterday, who one is a family member and the other one is a friend of the show, been on the show, and they were saying I needed to educate, and well, not really. I agree with you. I agree all lives matter. What I don't agree with is things like war memorials being desecrated. I don't agree with the rioting and looting. And they were like, well, no, you need to. I was like, I don't need to do anything. I was like, I served with many different religions, many different creeds, colours, sexual orientation. I went, I'm not a blinkered person. I'm not what I would call a fucking idiot. I don't go around spouting off racist chants at people and things like that. It's like, that's not who I am. I'm good mates with quite a few black people. I'm good friends with a few Indian people, etc., etc. It's like, basically, just don't be an idiot. Don't be racist. It's
in my life, it's not about racism. You know, I hate everyone fucking equally, to be quite honest. It doesn't bother me, you know, what colour you are or where they're from. If you're an arsehole, you're an arsehole, and I won't have anything to do with you. But I don't care what colour you are. Fuck me. At the end of the day, the only colour that mattered to me for many years was the colour green, and that's it. But
exactly. That's exactly how I feel.
Yeah, it does become annoying. But when you look at the movement in America, they went out looting. And a black police officer was shot dead. He was shot in the head. Black Lives Matter. So it should have been called Black Nikes Matter, because people they broke into all the sports stuff and stole all the stuff.
They wanted the trainers, didn't they, instead?
Excuse for some. Yeah, but that, now, to be fair, the looting wasn't just black people. The looting of the shops was every colour and creed, just using it as an excuse to go mental. And the police in the UK aren't equipped anymore to deal with mass brawls. They will go to an area and stop an incident, and they'll block it off, and people won't join that incident because they think there's danger. The minute they say there's a bomb down there, everyone clears. But if it's 10 people causing an argument and then a lot of people come, the police tend to stand back and just watch you smashing the fuck out of the city. And I find that completely diabolical. Have the police lost their balls? Have they lost the let's get in and get this fixed type scenario? It doesn't happen
Yeah,
anymore. And I
yeah,
find it strange that out of all the stuff in London, the thing is, right, back in the 80s, when my dad was driving through London with a Northern Ireland registration plate, we couldn't park anywhere. The minute we pulled up, police were there, Northern Ireland registration plate, had any ID, and you're like, fuck me. So they're able to get that going in London, but they can't seem to film an arsehole smashing something 10 metres in Downing Street. There's no,
yeah.
and they walk away. These people should be prosecuted.
So
But
I actually brought that up. It was my mum, in fact, that she shared a post on Facebook of some people throwing bottles and all sorts over the fence at Downing Street, and
yeah,
a very close friend of mine put up there, "Oh my God, they threw a bottle," and then I piped up, as I do, because I can't help myself sometimes. I'm like a big fish. Someone throws a bit of bait out there, I'll bite on it. And I was like, well, that's not the point, is it? I was like, there's policemen there, and they could be throwing anything over that fence.
yeah,
It could be a grenade. It could be an improvised explosive device. It could be acid. It could be anything. I went, they are well within their right in escalation of force. If they feel like their life's being threatened, they're armed police. They could have shot those people, and all they've done is thrown a bottle over there. But they could honestly believe that they were under attack because of what's going on. A lot of people don't realize, and it's just
yeah.
madness. We're living in a mad world at the minute.
I
A lot of
know.
angry people.
It's quite sad. We've got
Definitely.
quite sad the way things are going at the minute. But I've taken my foot off the gas since March, and I haven't been pushing as much as I should. But I intend to fully reinstate my foot on Johnny Mercer's throat the minute this is off, and we need to start going head to head and finding out what the fuck he's actually doing in that ministerial role of his, because I do not
Yeah.
see anything happening. Um,
Oh.
I said the other night about veteran Dennis Hutchings, who's been prosecuted in Northern Ireland.
Yep.
I find it strange that Johnny Mercer keeps talking shit in the papers and on his little shitty podcast and saying about he's trying to stop all these historical allegations. Now, Dennis Hutchings isn't getting any funding for his legal fees or for his court costs. He's having to crowdfund for that. Now, had he been a member of a Muslim grooming gang, that
Yeah.
shit female from Syria, or a paedophile, these people seem to get their legal fees covered from legal aid, but veterans aren't getting theirs covered, and they're having to fight,
Yeah.
and prosecute. So I don't understand what Johnny Mercer's doing. I don't understand why veterans that are in the public eye aren't saying anything. I understand that I'm known as Mr. Marmite because either you like me or you completely fucking hate me. But one thing I can say, hand on heart, is I am resilient when it comes to pushing for veteran stuff, and I will not stop. And if I won't mention other veterans' names, but if the veterans that are in the celebrity spotlight don't want to back me, then fuck the lot of them. I'll push without them. I'll see Johnny Mercer. I'll see the new Chief of Defence people down there who took over General Richard Newdy. We need to push it. I've got friends in the media that can help me push it with campaigns, and it needs to be pushed because at the minute I don't see anything actually being achieved for veterans, and this COVID-19 bullshit has given the Veterans Affairs Office a chance to hide for fucking 4 months.
Yeah. Definitely.
Everything should be rectified.
Yeah, it's the support for veterans. People talk a very good game. Oh yeah, I support veterans. Of course I do. Of course I do. Love the veterans. They've done. But when you actually need something, they disappear and hide. And it's fucking shocking, mate. It really is. And when, like you said, when you've got veterans in the public eye, in the spotlight, that don't want to help, don't want to do anything, don't want to, even just put a little post up. If they've got God knows how many supporters, followers, what have you,
Yeah.
all it takes is one post, and people will see it, people will like it, people will then look into it more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It doesn't take much. It doesn't take much to support veterans and veteran causes. There's
Exactly.
so many people out there that say they support.
Well, I know this. I know this. Now, this isn't his podcast, so I'm going to mention him anyway. Martin Middleton messed up during COVID by doing the video. We all know that. The whole world knows that. At the time when he gave his brief about he was trying to lift the nation, resilience and do fitness, and he was trying to do it. He went about it the wrong way, but he went back and apologised. And a lot of people went out to try and hang the guy. And I was like, no, I'm not having this. He's a typical veteran. He's fucked up. He put his hand up. He said, listen, guys, let's move on. But the veterans community, and I will say it's 100%, is I would say 60% are good people and 40% are vile bastards. Now, see all the assholes in your old unit? See when they left? They didn't change. They're still assholes today.
Yeah, definitely.
Happened. All the dickheads in my unit and assholes in my unit, when they left, they're still dickheads and assholes today. Nothing changed. Just because you're a veteran, and I'll say this, just because you're a veteran doesn't give you the right to be used as, oh, I am owed this. You're not owed fuck off. At the end of the day, if you got injured, which I've been, to get you the right treatment you need and get you the right compensation because you have been injured in service. But if you've left the service with no injuries and you've been fine and then fell on your arse, don't blame it in the fucking military. You know, we all go through tough times in life and we get thrown a load of shit and it's how we deal with it. And usually our training in the past, our standards, keeps us on a moral path. But the minute you slip off that, and I've had it happen to me about 5 or 6 times this year, where veterans will get in touch with me and say, Trev, I know you help veterans. I'm looking to put a business together to help veterans. I need that. Can you buy me 10 fucking mountain bikes? And I'm like, what? But it's for veterans? No, it's not. It's for putting your business together. Fuck off. I had a veteran, I'll call him Jonathan, because that's his real name. I won't say his second name though, because that's awful. Jonathan got in touch with me and he was crying, mental health. I went, okay, what's up? I'm going to get kicked out of my house. I'm in arrears of 900 quid. I can't get in front. I'm like, okay, let me see what I can do. I went and got my author's leather-bound copy, which only one exists, of my book, First of the Sign. I got the other book of that, a leather one, and I auctioned it on Twitter. And I managed, someone bought it at 1,500 quid. I said to Jonathan, do me a favour, do a Just Giving page for yourself, and I'll get him to put £1,500 in to your account. That'll be your £900 covered, with the other £600, transfer it back to me, because I want to help someone else. What did I get from Jonathan? No, it's my 1,500 quid, fuck off. So, I get that all the time from veterans, and I have to bite my lip. I have to bite my lip and go, you know what, guys? Sometimes I think, what fucking point to help and half of you selfish, ignorant bastards. I really do. But when you don't help, because of my PTSD, I feel guilty about not helping a fellow veteran. And then I get things like, Trevor picks and chooses who wants to help. The truth is, I fucking do. If you're an asshole, I'm not going to help you. If you're a bloke or girl, and I'm going to give you a hand, but you can't go around slagging people off, which the veterans training do quite a lot of. And I've noticed that on social media, it's a nightmare because I used to be a member of about 60 or 70 different veterans groups on Facebook. Today, I'm a member of 4. And the reason being is, I would get sent things to share, and I would share it in my own group. It would go all over. I would send them things to share. 6 weeks later, it's still sitting in their inbox, and they haven't bothered sharing anything, so they only share what they want. And I just said, you know what? I don't need any of your groups anymore. Your groups are 2,000 in there and 11,000 in there. I've got my own group now with 40,000 plus members, and it's growing every day. And the reason why it grows every day, it's because there's no politics in there. There's no Black Lives Matter. There's no Labour or Conservative. There's no Brexit. It's just today's heroes, positive stories, sometimes a bit of fun and jokes, and things which keep people up. Because if you go on to 99% of today's military's veterans' social medias, there's a lot of bitching in there, and people are just bitching, having to go at each other. And I noticed that whenever I got tagged into a lot of groups, there was a veteran that needed help, and it would have about 60 people comment on it, and it would say, have you tried here? Have you tried here? Have you tried here? And it just, to me, looked like it was just a complete list of outstanding signposters, but no one actually knew how to fix anything. Now, what I did with my first Into Signing page was I added a couple of great people in there as admins.
Yeah.
Which meant if someone sent my page an issue, I would have in there a SAFA caseworker who's part of the admin group. I've got a SAFA divisional coordinator. I've got a mental health and addiction specialist in there. So when someone sent the page a message about help, someone would pick that up. They would delete that message and they would take that message out to their private messenger.
Yeah.
So
yeah, got you. Yeah.
So then no one in the group would read that message because it's confidential. And I mentioned that in a few groups before, and I think that that's the way forward for military groups on social media, to bring specialists in to your admin team and help it grow, help fix things. Don't just say, oh, this is shit because no one will help me, because 9 times out of 10, a veteran, and I know this from, I know David Wood, who's the CEO of Helping Homeless Veterans, Danny Greeno from the Veterans Charity, Billy McClure, Jim, loads of different CEOs, different veterans are out there working around the clock to try and add value to other people's lives. They don't need value in their lives. These guys have already done okay. They're trying to add value to other people's lives.
Yeah.
But I find that the likes of Jim Davison will work with Danny Greeno. They'll work with Veterans in Action. They'll tie in with the Veterans Charity. They'll tie in with, for instance, Rock the Recovery. So there is ones working together, and it's great to see. It's great to see, but it's just that there's a group of veterans out there. Though I don't want to mention any names, but there's me and a lot of different groups have the names of people. It's like I'll make this name up. John Stevens will go and ask SAFA for money, but at the same time, he's asked 16 other charities for money, and he'll sit back to see what he can bring in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Unless smaller military charities start to work together, they're not going to know that this guy's had about $2,000 and then he goes somewhere else, because there's a lot of people out there making money off the back of people who have who want to help, and I don't see it being fixed anytime soon until we can get Johnny Mercer to hire veterans that were either corporals or senior NCOs and warrant officers to work within the Veterans Affairs Office, because officers can't fix everything. They're only good at leading. They're fucking shit at administration. We know that, but unless we start to move things and push things even further, it's not going to happen. I know that to hold my hand up and say that Johnny Mercer's got a difficult job is an understatement. It really is. But he's not going to be able to achieve a single thing unless he opens those doors to veterans to come in and get rid of all those fucking civil servants. Because civil servants aren't going to do anything to fix it. They've got, they're self-interested, whereas veterans are interested in helping veterans, which I find
exactly. Exactly. It's like, get people in who you know are going to do the job well and correctly, and that will it's as though he should have people in there that would have put their lives on the line for their country, that sort of thing. They know how to do it, and they will support their brothers in arms throughout anything. So get veterans in, because they will go, oh, fucking part of the brotherhood, I'm gonna fucking help you out. Yeah, you get the old fucking knobhead that treats you like shit, and they're always, well, they're just about, like you said. But there will always be those type of people within any sort of job anyway. But yeah, I 100% agree with you. He needs to get, like you said, NCOs, senior NCOs, or former, should I say, in to do those sort of jobs, because that's what they used to do. They used to go out and help out the lads and make sure fucking weapons are clean. Fucking you bombed up, you're ready to. What better thing to have than your old tax sergeant? You go and see him, and he's sorting out your admin for you to make sure you're not in shit state. It's
Exactly. Yeah. We missed that bit now, but things are improving. Um,
yeah.
I speak my mind. Everyone knows that I speak my mind. I can't help it. My PTSD has taken away my bullshit filter, and now it's gone. And now I can't help it. Um, I can't lie, even to my wife. It's like I've been fucking injected with something. Where every time I lie, I sort of go, "You blink when you lie," and I go, "No, don't." You know, I just can't get away with it.
No,
I
you don't. But
can't get
your eyes
away
are
with it
going like
now.
this.
I know. In a way, it's good because it means that when someone speaks to you, you get the truth. You're not going to get someone speaking to you with my attitude that's going to lie to you. I'm going to give you 100%. Whether it's right or wrong, it's my 100%, and I'll do my best.
Yeah.
But I just,
It's not a bad trait to have, though.
it's not. Yeah, it's not what gets me in trouble.
Have it.
Let's be honest.
I know exactly what you mean there.
Well, you don't see me running
but
around. You don't see me running around doing the talking circuit in London because people go, fuck me. If we get Trevor, he's going to turn and go, is anyone here from Safa? Yes. Is anyone here from Helping Heroes? Yeah. You're all cunts. You know what I mean? Nobody wants to hear that.
No, they don't.
But I must admit that I don't hold CEOs, not small. Now, I don't hold the top 6 charity CEOs in high regard because I think they could be doing a lot of things different. Now, when this COVID thing kicked off, I don't want to talk about COVID, but I'm trying to get a point out. When this COVID kicked off and it was about, well, we can't go out and collect. What are we going to do? We can't go out and collect. Well, the thing is, the law states that those charities should have 2 years fucking savings in place to cover wages anyway.
Yeah.
So because you happen to go out and collect over 4 months, it should not have affected any of those big charities in any way whatsoever, because they're meant to have 2 years of reserves. But I already know that not only do they have 2 years of reserves up there, they also have reserves, they have property portfolios, they've got overseas things, they've got lots of things in place.
Yeah.
Which
the thing that came out, wasn't there, about all those big charities and how much they've actually got that they're not actually using. And
you know what? I'll tell you this, right? Because people know this one. Not many people know this, but if you were, say, a troll of mine, and you went through all my social media, you'd find this, right? It was Trevor Coult that did the research of all those charities 2 years ago, and I wrote what they had, and I did the top 10 charities. I stuck it out there, and it got shared nearly 15,000 times. Then Sky News and other people contacted me the last couple of months, the Times, the Guardian, the Mail, the Star, the People. I've worked with every national paper, and should I say through the good work of Sean Raymond, because Sean Raymond is my #1 journalist. If I had a story to talk about to do with veterans, he's the only person I would speak to at the start because he's fantastic. He has been relentless in getting a lot of changes done.
yeah,
If it hadn't been for Sean Raymond's stories, we would not have had the veteran strategy debate last year in House of Commons. We would not have. I wouldn't have been able to do 2 campaigns with Prince Harry. The guy's relentless, and so he's put me around the different media, and we've managed to get a lot of things done. And I did that research on all the charities because I was sick and tired of asking for help for other veterans and being told, okay, are you skint, are you? Prove it. Let's see how shit your life is. Send us 6 months of your bank statements. Even though you're depressed, let me send you into fucking spiral by embarrassing you.
yeah.
See, veterans don't want that. They would rather live in a shithole than have to put all
Got
this
a very
across.
good story to go on top of this.
Go ahead.
Yeah, so I'm actually not afraid to fucking say it. Like I said, I'm very much like you. I don't really have a filter. So I approached, being a former airman, I approached the RAF Benevolent Fund to see if they could help possibly get me a few bits of equipment for the podcast, because at the minute I record my iPad and my phone at the minute. Basically, I told them the whole story of why I started it, which was to help with my depression, my anxiety after leaving the Air Force. I wasn't asking for much, and I was like, is there any chance that you guys could help in any sort of way to help me generate the podcast to get bigger so I can help other people in the same situation as myself. Basically going through the Time to Talk campaign, all that sort of thing, because it helps to talk. And that was my thing. And they came back to start with. They were constantly coming back saying, we're going to send somebody out to see you to generate a profile to see if you fit the criteria. I was like, yeah, that's fine. No problem with that. You come by any time. Months and months passed, up to almost 6 months, I believe. And then it was, sorry, that is not something that we are willing to back or help with. I was like, all right, no. In my head, I was like, all right, no problem. I've done it on my own this far. I was willing to put the RAF Benevolent Fund as part of the podcast, as in to put, this is the Granite Zero podcast in association with. So they would get all the sort of publicity as my podcast grew. They would also get that publicity. People would donate, etc., etc. But yeah, they didn't want any part of that, unfortunately.
That's quite sad, man. It's quite sad.
Third generation Air Force. It was a little gutting because I know how much they've helped in the past with one of my close friends, Robbo, who lost both his legs. They really helped him out, obviously, because they would do that. They also helped with my uncle when he was going through his cancer treatment. Benevolent Force. I thought, well, fucking hell. Benevolent Fund have helped everybody I know that's served in the Air Force. Perhaps they will help someone who's health issues that is trying to get better and also show to others within the military as a whole that there are avenues out there to talk about things because that's the main start, isn't it? To talk about it, to get it out there, and then you go through your own recovery. But yeah, got pardon the pun, I got shot down.
I like that. Have you worked on that? That was good.
I hadn't worked on it. That just literally just came out. It's all the whiskey drinking, I think.
Yeah.
But yeah, I 100% understand where you're coming from, because I did a bit of research into the Benevolent Fund, and they were one of the top charities that seem to be sitting on this little gold mine of theirs, and they've got all this funding that they could be using to help with people with PTSD, depression, anxiety, mental health issues, because it's not just physical issues that come out of the military, and that's a huge thing. I know there's many veterans out there that have mental health issues. A lot of and I was showing them, this is an avenue that I took. You don't have to take this, but this is a way to better yourself and aid in your journey through recovery. Some people write books. Some people, go to the gym, whatever. You know, this happens to be my one, and sometimes you need that little bit of a financial aid to be able to get the equipment to make things, well, in the podcast world, sound better. So that it comes, so people can hear the message. So yeah, that was my little add to your little brief story onto your point there. It's just a bit of a shame, really. But yeah, as I keep saying in a minute, it is what it is.
Exactly. You'll get there.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like I've got the show has come on leaps and bounds. When I first started, it was literally me talking into my phone in the shed. At the minute, I'm still pretty much doing the same, but I've now added in the Skype calls. I'm getting guests on like yourself. I had Josh Bridges, who's a Navy SEAL. So I've had people from America coming on the show and things like that. And things just are going better and better. And I'm trying to show other veterans that it's okay. Like, I've invited so many veterans onto the show, if they're struggling or whatever, to come on the show. Even if they don't want to come on the show, they can phone me up. They can talk to me, whatever. You know, because I've been in that situation where I bottled it all up and been lost. As I'm sure you know through your own mental health issues.
Yeah, I think we all suffer from mental health in some sort of way. Expect that it suits you at the time, because PTSD, it's labelled as post-traumatic stress disorder, but it's very rare to meet another veteran who's on the same medication as you. I mean, it's quite weird how that works, that we all may suffer mental health and we're all on so many different medications. And the reason behind that is, which is, I think, my dog's having a drink of water. Can you hear him?
Yeah. I'm right,
Sorry.
So your dog's having a drink of water. I'm surprised my cat hasn't jumped on the roof. Every single episode, when I'm in mid-conversation, she'll jump on the roof of the shed. The whole thing shakes. I shit myself.
Oh. Well, here, the thing about PTSD is this. You will go, there's different codes you can give to your doctor, and they need to register you as a veteran, because many people go to the doctors, come back. If you register yourself as a veteran, then they can open up other things and treatment that can be available to you that you didn't know about. So it is good to register. Regardless, we have different types of codes for the likes of Army Air Corps, RAF, Royal Navy, Royal Marines, infantry, or should I say Army. So there is different codes and things are available. There is budgets out there, so we need to register properly. But the thing that I find quite strange is when I speak to different veterans and they say what medication you're on, I tell them and they tell me theirs, and I'm like, whoa, we're on different stuff. And that's because HGP is affiliated to a different pharmaceutical company.
Yeah.
And they're trying to promote those different drugs around the UK. So basically, veterans are being used as fucking guinea pigs around the UK to see what works and what doesn't work.
Yeah. Oh, I never thought of it that way. My Medicaid, I'm on Sterling is what I'm on. And that's literally just upped. It just upped me on that. I had a bit of a wobble the other week. Well, the other week, it lasted quite a bit of time where I wasn't myself at all, and I was like, this hasn't happened for a while, and it's as though the other dosage I had got used to it, and that the only way I'd describe it is my darkness has decided to go. Oh, I'm better than this. Yeah, I wasn't in a happy place. I wasn't in a happy place.
I had to call my own doctor probably just over 2 weeks ago and ask her to lower the dosage in my medication, because I wasn't depressed, let's get this straight, but I was sitting on my sofa and I was like, I don't want to get up. I was feeling lazy. I felt dizzy. I felt tired. And I went, this is weird, because see when something kicks in, like a medication kicks in, you feel it and you're like, oh. I was like, this is wrong. And I had to phone up my doctor and do an online call, and she called me a couple of days later. I said, listen,
I had to do the same.
Can you lower my dosage? I just think that it's affecting me at the minute. And she was like, okay. What it was the same medication I was on, but it was a different brand. And it was just weird how it works, but I had to get them to lower it. Shocking, but
yeah. It's mad. They're supposed to be doing the same thing, but because it's got a different label on it, it affects you. Like, I'm sure if I was on a different brand, I wouldn't be on this level that I'm on. But
are you affiliated to the Dad MAMMOUTH Coffee Company?
I'm well, he's been on the show.
Yep.
He helps out with the podcast quite a bit actually, which is nice. He's a good lad.
Brilliant.
Yeah. Well, I try and, because a lot of podcasts have sponsors. Obviously, I don't have any really. What I have is veteran companies that I like to promote myself. What they've given me is like a discount code for any of their products, which I pass out to my viewers. So Dead Mammoth is one of them. Right Flank with Steve Nichols is another one. He was on the show last week actually. They're like a clothing line. Combat Fuel is pretty much the standard one, I think. For anyone that and the only one that I have got that isn't veteran run is a CBD company, because I found when I first started really accepting my depression and anxiety, I wanted to try and find a natural way of dealing with it before I started taking the pills. And I started using CBD oil, which was really, really effective. But like I said earlier, a minute ago, with my darkness, it likes to take hold.
Yeah.
And sometimes I need a bit extra to calm that down. But yeah, and to be fair, as a veteran, I'm sure you know, joint pain, muscle pain, even at my age at 33, I feel like I'm fucking 60 odd with the amount of weight that I used to carry. So they've got a really good like muscle rub, which is all it's just fucking brilliant, if I'm honest. A lot of people, when you say CBD, they're like, well, that's the stuff that's in marijuana, isn't it? Yeah, it is, but it's non-psychedelic or anything like that, so it's all good for you. Yeah, they're the only company really that isn't veteran owned that I don't shout out or anything like that, which is I'm pretty much very similar to you in that way, where any sort of veteran company, if they want or need any sort of advertising, I know I'm not exactly the bigot, I'm not exactly Joe Rogan, for example, in the podcast world, but I do have a good number of listeners and followers, so any sort of help that I can give to any veteran cause, I will do. You know, if and I never ask for anything back in return. I don't go, well, I'll only shout you out if you give me a t-shirt.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm not that sort of person. I'll always help out the veterans because I am one.
Yeah.
That's how
Pardon?
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So I was on your YouTube the other day while I was at my regular human job. I was having a little watch, and I was watching the clip where you were saying how you were banned from your parent unit going back.
Yeah.
I was shocked. I was like, when I first saw the clip where it says banned from his regiment, I was like, what?
Yeah, it's true.
The man's got a military cross. How are you?
Mate, I've said many a time, I haven't been back to my unit since 2009. I don't think I'll ever go back. I don't have any pride in my old unit anymore. It's lost. They had a chance and they fucked it up. Family unit that has now gone. Everyone I know has now left. But I found it quite sad how they tried to cover up one of their serving sergeant majors fuck ups.
Yeah.
I reached out on social media and I tried to get people in my own unit together, go and search for a veteran who was missing, who had mental health issues, and his wife was worried, it was quite possible he was going to take his life. And whenever I asked out on my social media for people to help, a serving sergeant major from 111 Irish posted that comment. I don't know if you've read it. He posted
I did, yeah. It was a very heinous.
And do you know what? He posted it on Warriors RV and a couple of other sites. But the other sites deleted it. This is why I got banned from my unit. I didn't delete what he posted. I just blocked him from going back on that page and I left it there. That's all I did. That prompted an RMP investigation. The CO, I mean, it went in all the media. But rather than one Irish and the CO do something good, they decided while this ongoing investigation was taking part, they were going to ban me from their unit from attending the Remembrance Day Memorial, which was the 10-year anniversary of my video watch. So I found that to be the biggest insult ever, and I will never. It's shocking. It's disgusting. I don't have
horrible,
any. You can't recover from that, mate. Once you do it to someone, fuck you. I'll never. Shocking, but you know that's how they get on now. Terrible. And do you know what makes this even worse? I'll say it. Fuck it. Rob Walker was a sergeant major. He posted that the day after the RSM had briefed the warrant officer in Sergeant's Mess that a senior NCO had just killed himself in the fucking mess. And he posted that the day after that. That makes it worse. He is scum in my eye.
Yeah. That's
and,
fucking mate.
And then you had a group of individuals sticking up for the Sergeant Major. Pricks. And I thought, you know what? I don't want to be around any of you ever again. It's just the way why are you backing this guy up? This is what he posted. And then it came out about, oh, somebody stole his phone and posted it. That's bullshit. Because this is a Sergeant Major. Now, the stuff he posted about the individual, only people of his era would have known that stuff took place.
Yeah.
So it was a lie. It was a complete lie. A senior NCO with no moral, waste of space.
Yeah.
Scumbag.
That's disgusting. Absolutely fucking disgusting. And a senior, he should know better than to do that anyway. As a senior NCO, and it just shows his fucking lack of moral fibre.
It wasn't just a senior NCO. He was a company Sergeant Major.
Fucking hell.
You know, it gets worse. Who had just done Sandhurst as a colour sergeant. This goes to show you that this is a guy who holds grudges, a guy who can't do things. And would you want to go and speak to your Sergeant Major with issues if this is how he would retaliate in years to come?
It's as though you wouldn't be able to confide in him and let him know anything about you, because at any point that could come around and bite you in the ass and make things a million times worse.
Exactly. So I got nothing good to say about them anymore.
There's consequences with your actions if it in those sort of situations, and that's fucking.
The units changed. My own units changed, but in hindsight, I think most units have changed. The guys that I served alongside that were good guys are still good guys, and they're veterans, and I get on with them. I chat to quite a few during the day and stuff, and they are out helping veterans, and they're out doing their bit to add a little bit to society. And those guys I would bend over backwards for. But you know, there's also guys that there's also guys out there that I wouldn't piss on if they were on fire, and that's true.
Yeah.
It's sad to say it, but unfortunately,
know exactly what you mean there. I've mentioned it a few times on here, not to that extent, but when I first started doing the podcast, I had a few trolls from my own regiment, and it was like a bit of a kick in the teeth, because I'm trying to better myself and try and fix myself. By people who I thought were one of them. I'll name him on here because he's a fucking dick. Luke Tyler. He basically said I was an embarrassment to the regiment and I should never show my face at RAF Honington ever again, and I should never wear the RAF colours. I should be ashamed of myself. I was like, for one, I'll never be ashamed of having the problems that I have, and two, you are part of the problem. Why airmen, sailor, infantrymen, whatever, don't come out and say anything because of people like you fucking dickhead. And it was just really hard to hear the people that you thought were mates coming out and saying things like that you're an embarrassment and nobody gives a shit about you, basically. And I was like, well, putting it down and sending me backwards. Like it took my brother several long chats to get me back to my normal self. I was ready to chuck it all in and give it all up. I was like, nah, I can't deal with this sort of negativity. And he was like, nah, you need to fucking chill out, take your breath, take your condor moment. It's literally a handful of people, and if anything, they're listening to your podcast, so they're adding to your likes. I was like, yeah, you got a point.
Yeah.
But you always get knobheads in every regiment, don't you?
I I think I'm. You know what? I'm going to claim this title. I think I'm probably the most trolled fucking veteran out there. I'm trolled, but my skin's quite thick, and I just let it go.
You can be top of the pile on that one, Trev. You can be top of the pile. I'll let you have that honour.
Thank you. But yeah, what an honour. I get used to it. Unfortunately, people that can't stop you. The minute they see that you are succeeding and they see that you're moving forward,
yeah,
people will try and trip you up and say,
yeah, they don't
Trevor
like
Coult, it. I remember you fucked up in 1987, and I'm going, really? I fucked up in 98, 99, 2000 as well. You know, get it all out there, get it off your chest.
I fucked up a lot. What are you on
about? I know. But it's going to come. It's going to come. People will trip you up, and the only reason why people would put you down is because they see you're succeeding. You're reaching levels that they can never dream of, and they are starting to get pissed off at it, and they will make up stories about you. Mate, I've been under massive investigations, which were all false because I've been accused of the amount of fraud. I had a female veteran from the UDR actually got in touch with a club that my son was a part of and told him that I needed DBS check because I shouldn't be allowing children. This is the type of trolling I get. Do you know what I mean?
Hell.
Yeah, I get people report me to the police all the time for theft and fraud and for doing this and doing that, and I'm like, okay, bring it on. I don't even run a charity, yet I got reported to the charity commission for fraud, and they were like, I phoned them up and I said, listen, I've received a letter from you, but I don't run a charity. Well, we were told you were pretending to run a charity, and I went, okay. And they told me who reported me. I don't want to say on here. I then went, okay. And they kept sending me stuff every couple of days, and I got sick of them. I phoned them up. Obviously, you get half an hour on the queue to speak to these fuckers. I got on the queue. I said, can I have your email address? So I got the charity commission's email address, and I sent an email out, and I CC'd Suffolk Police fraud into it. And I said, in future, work together, because I couldn't be bothered with this shit. If you're saying I've done this, tie to them, they can investigate it, and they did it, and they spent a year investigating all my Just Giving pages. They phoned in all the charities that had help, they phoned in all the veterans that had help, and they ended up sending me an email. So after a year's investigation, you get an email to clear you. And I was like, really? After a year, I just get an email? I want a fucking certificate. You know what I mean? but it comes to the territory. You put yourself out there, you put your head above the parapet, and you want to try and fix something, and you take the spotlight off somebody else, and they fucking are human. I had a guy, I'm going to mention him here actually, a charity called Forgotten Veterans. There's a guy in there, the CEO guy, Weavering. We don't get on. Now, I cannot prove he did this, so I will not say he did. But he was sharing petitions, government petitions, where he wanted people to sign it to make sure Trevor Coult would never run a charity because I had mental health issues with PTSD. This is a guy who's actually the CEO of a charity telling people that I should. So he may not have started the petition, but he fucking shared it all over the place. And he's scum. But there's quite a few people like he forgotten. Imagine calling the charity Forgotten Veterans and then fucking ignoring veterans. What an asshole. But there's quite a few people like him.
He should be called throwing veterans under the bus, his charity should be called. Fuck me.
Yeah, exactly. You know, the thing is, there's a lot of little charities like that out there who are scraping and scraping, trying to get that pound out of your pocket. And if they, to ensure that you put your pound in their pocket, they'll say, don't give it to Trevor, he's a fucking asshole, give it to me. Yeah. So they're willing to destroy people's reputations in order for their own benefits. And the sad thing is, that is a little bit like the charity sector today. It really is. It's a shame. But I was going to say all about this guy, and we moved around in a circle. But yes, we were talking. I mentioned about Anthony Middleton. Yeah.
Yep.
He's actually currently involved with Tour After Combat, helping Jim Davison with those that come out of jail to help them put them on the right path. I know that. I spoke to him probably. I think it was last month. Last month I spoke to him on the phone, and he was saying that he's doing this and different bits with veterans. He gets a lot of shit from some veterans, but I give him a bit of credit. I mean, he delves into his own pocket and pays for people's fucking rent, which not many people know about. One of the very few celebrities veterans that actually do dip into their own pocket to pay for things. The other one, which people call racist all the time, is Jim Davison. And I speak with Jim every couple of days. Now, what people don't realise about Jim is he used to get slagged quite a lot, not only being a racist, but how dare he pay himself 60 grand a year in a veterans charity.
Yeah.
And that, I used to think, okay. And I had a chat with Jim, and what people don't know is Jim went on to, Jim started doing tours again, didn't he, last year, the year before?
Yeah.
Going back out. Do you know why, mate? Because his charity was suffering financially. So Jim went round all the different stadiums and all the different clubs and places and did a tour. And the money he brought in, he paid his staff wages. But no one talks about that. They just say Jim's laying in his own pockets. So there's a lot of people out there. There's a lot of people out there which are happy to stick the food into people, but are not happy to promote them when they're doing well. And fair enough. If you're willing to go around on a 2-year tour around the country and bring in a couple of million quid to pay your staff, then rightly so, you should be on 60 grand a year. 10, for the money that you use.
Yeah.
But people are too quick to put the food in, mate, and it's usually jealousy out there which causes half this shit.
100%, mate.
Yeah.
Jealousy is well, obviously it's one of the deadly sins, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it really is like it just ruins friendships. It ruins a lot of things.
Yep.
And it's just madness, mate. Madness.
Yeah.
Oh, got the pooch out. What a lovely dog, mate. I'm trying to convince the family to let me have a dog. I'm surrounded by females in my house.
Well, I'll tell you what, this dog here, having a dog is actually awesome for PTSD. Awesome. They will come and they will sit at your feet. They will sit near you whenever you're stressed, and they keep an eye on you. This dog, during this whole podcast, has been sitting on my toes.
Yeah. Anyway, see, the reason why we haven't got a dog is because for a fact it will be my dog, and when I'm at work I do 12-hour shifts, and I've sort of talked myself out of it by saying it's not fair on the dog because I'll be half of the day I won't be there, and then the missus like and then I talk myself into it and go, I could get a smaller dog and it wouldn't be as bad, but then I'm like, but it'll be my dog because nobody else. The girl, as much as the girls will love it, my daughters, they'll love it to bits, and the missus I'm sure will love it, but if it's anything like any of the dogs when I was growing up, it always seems to go to the master of the house. The alpha male.
Little dog. My dog's called Zeus, and Zeus plays with my son. My son's 9, and they play. They're both the same age mentally, really. They play, they mess around. But when it comes to the rest, they come and sit at my feet. It's great. But they help though. They can sense when you've got anxiety. And just stroking the dog takes away the stresses, and it makes you feel quite relaxed. So it's worth investing in. They are worth investing in. Help you massively.
I'll bring it up.
Yeah.
Again.
It'll keep your anxiety.
Like I said earlier, we got a cat, and as lovely as the cat is, I love her to bits. Like, she's a lovely cat, but when I want to have a cuddle with the cat, it's like, fuck off, mate.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll come to you when I want, mate. It's like, all right, cheers.
Yeah.
I tell you what I have to do. I do have to apologise for changing the timings on the show. Like I said when I messaged you, I double booked myself. Basically, my eldest daughter is an absolute. The only way to describe her is she is a mini version of me, which means she's an absolute geek. And she went from being obsessed with all the Harry Potters, the books, the movies, going to Harry Potter World, all that, she was obsessed with it. She's now moved on, and she's now obsessed with everything Jurassic Park. And today, the Jurassic World, the Lost Kingdom or Fallen Kingdom or whatever it is, came out on Netflix. And I told her, when on Netflix, we'll get a pizza in, we'll sit and watch, and all that sort of stuff. So it wasn't until about 4 o'clock today, and I went, fuck. I'm supposed to be doing a podcast at fucking 7:30. I don't finish work until 6. I got to cycle home, get showered, watch this movie. I was like, I'm sure he won't mind if I say, can we make it 8:30? Luckily, the missus had already ordered the pizza, so it was on its way when I got home. And to be fair, literally, you just texted me saying you had your coffee ready, and that was literally when the movie finished. I was like, spot on. Finally got my timings right. I haven't let anyone down.
Good.
Yeah, she was getting a bit upset because I said I might have to leave a bit early in the movie to get the as I call it, the shedio ready.
Yeah.
She got a bit upset, and I was like, I can't let her down. She'll hold that against me.
Yeah. Kids don't forget.
Oh, they don't. And she is the most sensitive soul in the world. We were watching this movie, and the fucking dinosaur gets shot with a tranquilizer. She starts crying. She was like, "It's gonna die." I was like, "I'm gonna die. It's a fucking main character. Just watch it. You'll be fine." Next minute, screaming at the top of her head because a Tyrannosaurus Rex is fucking bit someone in half, and I was like, Jesus Christ. Then she's crying again, and I'm like, oh my God, this is a roller coaster. This is doing nothing for my fucking anxiety right now, Jessica.
Well, what's your plans then?
Change it for my plans.
Yeah.
Well, in long run or in short term? Both.
Both, really, yeah.
Yeah, both. Okay, so in the short term, for me, at the minute, it's been put on to a postponement at the minute. It's going to be held next year. So what I'm trying to do is raise as much money as I can for Mind and Rock to Recovery. So what I've done is I've set up a charity football match against Spurs Legends. And that was supposed to be happening on the 12th of July. However, because of this fucking pandemic, that's going to be switched to next July, hopefully. It's going to be pretty good though, if I'm honest, because I've got I've got a couple of serving lads from my regiment that are playing. I've got my old man's playing, who's a 22-year veteran of the Air Force. He was the #1 jump instructor in the country when he was serving. He will be 69, almost 70 when the game's played, which is quite funny. I think he's probably going to last about 5 minutes.
You never know. Dan's always surprise you.
To be fair, my old man has always had the dream of playing alongside me and my brother. He played alongside my brother in a couple of games when we were growing up, in obviously in men's football, but he never got to play alongside both of us at the same time. And he's always said that that's one thing he really wants to do. And I was like, well, I've got the opportunity here to get that done for you. And he seems happy. He's ecstatic, in fact. I've got a couple of celebrities lined up to play, which is pretty good. A UFC fighter he said he's going to play. Another bloke from SAS who dares wins, not one that argues with you on Twitter. A guest that was on the show. In fact, I believe Brian Wood has said he would play. MC.
All right.
If he's not filming his movie, that is. that was his condition. If I'm not on set, then I'll play, is what he said. I was like, all right.
Busy man,
yeah,
Brand.
That's pretty much in the short run. Obviously, I want to try and it's sort of short but also long. I want to try and make the podcast a bit better. At the minute, my brother does a lot of my producing stuff, but he was doing a brilliant job while he was on furlough. Now he's back in work. It's sort of a bit of slow in production. I've got a couple of episodes that need editing and putting out. I want to do it quite sharpish, is how I like to get them out. And when I have a lag, I start getting a bit.
Yeah. You'll get down there. Yeah.
Get out. But to be fair, man is literally today it arrived. He sent me a laptop out, his old one, which I was like, fucking chuffed with that, because the laptop I've got at the minute, I've got one of those Chromebooks that doesn't do anything. Yeah. Don't recommend them at all. I downloaded the Skype app onto the Chromebook, and as soon as I pressed record, it stopped. Just so this is good. Yeah. This is what you need.
These things happen.
All those sorts of things. It does. So yeah, I want to try and expand the podcast a little bit, as much as I can. Get it out there. But yeah, I want to progress within my actual. I call it my regular human job, because this is more of my hobby. So my actual job, I want to try and progress a bit more within that. We've just been taken over by another company, which is refreshing, and they seem to put a lot of time and effort into people that want to progress within a company, which is good, because the other company was pretty shit. They would promise you the world and then not deliver, which is a shame. But yeah, and I'm also writing not so much a book. I'm not really expecting to get published or anything like that. It's sort of I've got 3 tour diaries that I need to tweak, and basically I started writing a bit of a memoir up until the point where I started the podcast. Transition from a young lad that joined the military, coming out of the military, how I managed to progress after leaving, how it affected me, because that was mainly my mainly my trigger was when I left, because I lost that sense of purpose and that sense of belonging that a lot of people talk about within the military, and it is true. And that was my trigger, and I've started writing. I like to think it's going quite well. I'd like to get some pointers, some feedback on it. It's a work in progress.
Are you in comms with Damien Lewis?
I'm not, no.
And I'll send him a message. Whenever you're ready to have your stuff looked at, let me know, mate, and I can ask him to have a look at it for you. He's a decent guy. He's a decent guy. He works extremely hard for veterans as well. He's nice.
I was a bit skeptical of doing it. But because I come from the most hated regiment within the whole of the military, the RAF regiment. The 5 Mile of Death.
Yeah, we're not haters. We're not haters.
Nah, I know. I like to say that because it is. I like. To be fair, I actually quite like the banter, because it usually comes from people that have never with the regiment and know what we're about, that sort of thing. But the main reason why I was a bit skeptical was because I never, in the 3 tours that I did, we never came under any serious had a number of rocket attacks that I had. Suspect IDs, that sort of thing. I had a corporal pull the fucking wire out when I was confirming, which shit me up. But I was always thought, I can't write about the stuff that I've done because people will just go, I'm not reading that. He didn't have any action, that sort of thing. And I was like, oh, I'm not going to write that. And then I spoke to a number of people. I think Geraint Jones was one of them, and he was like, no, just write. No, nobody will care if you've got. It's not always about action and that sort of thing. And then I was like thinking back, and then there's a USMC guy, Anthony Swarford, who did Jarhead, and I was like, well, in his book, he's not under any serious contacts. He's waiting for it, and it's the waiting. And I was like, oh, I could write it in a similar sort of similar sort of thing, not so much copyright, but or plagiarizing, should I say? Because in our region, especially, there's a lot of, you're highly trained, but then you're like itching to do something, and not a lot's going on, and it's how you deal with that sort of thing. And I think that could come across quite well, especially at the minute when all the armed forces at the minute don't really have anywhere to go in that situation. Not like as we were serving, we had Iraq and Afghanistan, and if you want to go back a bit further, Northern Ireland, etc., etc. At the minute, we've got COVID, and Black Lives Matter. So yeah, I'm toying with the idea, and now I've got my laptop properly, I can actually type it out. Because at the minute I'm jotting notes on my phone, and I'm writing it down, and I'm like, oh, that's not too bad. But then I think if I put that on a proper screen, that's not going to be much.
You need about 110,000 words plus.
That's my idea anyway. I want to jot down my memoirs, because I've got, like I said, I've got my 2 tour diaries that I've got, and when you read back through them, I think it's actually quite. Some bits are very, very amusing, even though it's me written it, and I'm reading it. I'm like, fuck, as if that happened, and things like that. It's like, is it? Yeah. It's madness.
Well, that's how I did my book. Yeah, I used my old diaries, my old commander's diaries and stuff, and then things that, when it's in your head, it never leaves. It never leaves.
Yeah.
So it's nice to. A lot of veterans today, they're not good. Well, I'm one of them, but they're not a good writer. Wasn't designed to write, designed to be a soldier. But we find that putting stuff right, this helps deal with our demons. This gets it away. This lets us progress in life because we've got rid of all the shit that was built up on our heads, and it helps you recharge your batteries and move forward in life. Because if you don't write it down, you don't get it out there, that stays in there, and that's constant fucking reminders of shit you went through. To get it 100%. Published, or even if it's not published, just to get it out and write it and save it as a Word doc helps you progress and recover.
Yeah, the reason why I first, the first tour diary was for myself, really, because I didn't really have anyone else. So that Iraq was my first tour, and that was Jarhead while I was out there, and I was like, I could do a thing, that sort of thing. Thoughts, feelings, just write them down. So I did that, and then second tour I was in Kandahar, and my missus, another one, another tour diary. It's got something that my unborn could read when they grow up, to see what it was like while I was away. And yeah, Bastion was slightly different because I was in the command centre. I was on the radio. But I dealt with all the major incidents that the squadron had during that tour, which included Robbo losing his legs, Priddle getting shot. One of the first rocket attacks that Bastion had for fucking ever. We had all that. So I wrote all that down in the Marines that we were working with the US, and I thought, my kids would love that. When I'm really old, telling them my little, even though I only did 5.5 years, telling my little war stories, it's like they'll appreciate that, and they'll understand why I put my medals on and go to remembrance parades and things like that. Like, my kids love all that anyway. They're always interested in, especially coming from a military family as well, with my dad serving and my granddad serving. They're always asking questions, and one of my favourite moments from last year was during remembrance. My eldest had to do a presentation on if she had any experiences in the family that were in the military, and I said, don't use me, because that's an easy one. Use your granddad. And she was like, I never, as in my granddad, so her great granddad. I was like, use him. She was like, but he died before I was born. I was like, yeah, but it doesn't matter. I was like, he was as I would call a proper war. And she was like, why is that? And I went, well, here's his medal. I've even got him in the studio, his medals. I was like, here's his medals. He's a bit like you, had a chest full. He had a BEM, which is now been, I don't think they give that out anymore, British Embassy medal. He had one of those for his time in Burma. He had another Valor medal for World War II. Huntons know everything about him because he kept those things secret. He kept him, so a lot of the family don't know what he did, what happened, and things like that. And I was trying to say to her that it's mad in that sense that Grandad never spoke about his time to his family. It's as though he couldn't get it out, which is a shame, because like he's got these medals, and it's like, I said to my dad, I went, what did he get that for? And he's like, he never spoke to me. And then I asked my nan, I'm like, what did he get his BEM for? She went, his time in Burma. I was like, yeah, but what did he do? She's like, what do you mean? Well, that medal's for valor. Why don't you know?
Yeah, it's a shame we don't have that history now. Yeah.
I suppose different time breeds different men, doesn't it?
It does, yes, yeah.
And I like to think that he sort of took it as though he was just a bit like you said when you got your M's job. I think that's exactly how he was. I was just doing my job. I'm not gonna. Everybody else is doing their job. I just got singled out to get it.
It's a shame. It's true though, but it's a shame that a lot of people get ignored on those situations, because the army and the RAF and the military is a team. It's a team effort, and whenever one person does get singled out for a specific event, it can have 9 times out of 10 it has a negative effect on the rest of the team, because you'll have people that say well done. You'll have people that go, why him? Some people will go, he's an asshole. Some will clap. It's just sad that Winston Churchill, he did a lot of things right. He also did a lot of things wrong. Yeah. But the one thing that he said, which will always stand out in history, is the shiniest metals cast the darkest shadows.
And we've got a very similar thing within the RAF regiment with a really top bloke who suffers from PTSD himself, and that's Dave Hayden. He's one of the first, if not the first, regiment gunner to get the MC for his time in Iraq as well. And I've been in comms with him via Twitter, and he gets a lot of shit from the regiment. A lot of them say that he didn't do what has been said he did, and things like that.
I'm in comms with David. We chatted loads of times. He's a decent guy.
That's good. He's a top bloke.
He gets shit, yeah, but you know what? I'm a firm believer that, and you wouldn't believe it, everyone with an MC, everyone with a gun gets shit. We get shit. The Gallantry Medals League, which everyone's a member of, no one there has got a story to say, my unit think I'm great. No, every unit, the soldiers despise people with Gallantry medals. It's quite sad to say this, but a lot of people with Gallantry medals get shit on by, and no one of these guys or girls asked for the fucking medal. Someone wrote us all up. We didn't ask, but yet it comes with a lot of shit. It comes with a lot of hatred.
Yeah. It's like you haven't gone. Oh, You didn't go to your CEO and go, "Can I have the MC, please? Because I did this." You've been chosen for a reason, and like you said, I watched your YouTube thing when you first got told you got it, and you fucking hung up and was like, "Fuck off."
Mm.
And then you didn't, and obviously you had devastating news beforehand, but you didn't tell the lads and that because it's mad though. Because for me, having the likes of yourself on the podcast with I told lads on my WhatsApp group, other regiment lads that they're on my best mate coming on Cross, and the lads were like, no. They were all fucking buzzing for me on the. It's just up a little bit that sense of joy, you know. And what you said, you know, it's not like you said, "Can I have it, please?" Madness, mate. And I've frozen again.
You froze a little bit, yeah.
Yeah.
That's right.
Skype.
Yeah, I'm used to it. I think every veteran now knows out there that I stick my neck out all the time to help other vets, and it comes with a lot of fucking hatred. It's quite sad, but I'm used to it now. It's second nature now.
It is sad.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm actually quite chuffed that that Dave reached out to you and you're in comms with Dave, because I spoke to him a couple of times, and I was like, because I would be honoured to have him on the show, and he's like, yeah, I'll definitely come on when I'm in a better headspace. I'm like, yeah, that's fine. I totally understand that. Yeah. He's basically been ditched by the regiment for some reason, and I don't know why. He's one of the most decorated gunners within the regiment, and it's like he's been shunned for some reason, and I don't know why. I know I've heard the story of why he got it, and I was like, fucking hell, true hero right there. I know he's not asked for the MC, he's just doing his job, but people throw him under the bus and all sorts. It's horrible, mate. It really is.
Throw under the bus. I've been thrown under the bus, the tank, the train, the plane. Fuck me, it doesn't bother. You just got to get on with it. David's, he's been suffering. He's been suffering a little bit, but he'll pull himself through. He should be out now, or he's going through transition or something. Definitely out. It's where he goes from there. You can either sit and dwell, or you lift yourself up, you dust yourself off. He can join me in life. Yeah.
I'm sure he's the type of guy that will dust himself off and
Yeah. But we need more people out there not going around on the speaking circuit doing the metal. We need him. I'm gonna reach out to him again in the next couple of days, and he could be a good ally to have whenever we both hit Johnny Mercer. I'll have someone to hit him from the right flank rather than the left flank, because Johnny Mercer sometimes sees me coming and he can hide. But if I come with David, another MC guy, he can't hide from us two. So
you can't hide from him.
Exactly, can't hide from a gunner.
Is there coming out from you?
Sorry, what was that?
Any books? Obviously, you did the first in signing. Got any more?
I have written another one.
Done with that.
Called, well, not to tell what it's called yet, but I have written another one which Damien Lewis has looked at, and it needs tweaked a little bit. I'm not going to be honest, it needs tweaked a little bit, and we'll see where that goes. But it is written, it's all done, and it's just moving forward with that. But it's not my passion, if I'm honest. My passion is my little van, which is my veterans tank, my driver and helping veterans with. So I enjoy that. And I'm sponsored by Tactical Coffee.
Oh.
So
I have. They do follow me on Instagram, I do believe, Tactical Coffee.
Yes. The thing is, I enjoy their coffee. Their blend 1441, which hits home with me because 1441 is a blend which was brought out to keep remembering the amount of servicemen and women that died in Northern Ireland and up Banner, which is 1,441.
Yeah.
So it hits home with a lot of us. And a pound from every one of their bags goes to charity that I love called Veterans in Action, which helps veterans with PTSD. So
Happy days.
I have a lot of time for them, but putting that aside, it doesn't say that there's a lot of decent coffee out there today. A lot of veterans owned coffees, which is fantastic. I'm really chuffed that they're starting to do
There is.
For a while, it was just there's some good ones over here.
Well, like we mentioned earlier, one that's quite close to me is Dead Mammoth.
Yeah.
And the other one that I used to be affiliated with was 50 Caliber Coffee.
Yeah.
Was the other one. But yeah, I love coffee, so.
Yeah. Well, exactly. I started off. I tried 50 Cal coffee. I did. Not bad. I was then affiliated and an ambassador for Counter Strike Coffee, which is an American one. But you know what? The sad thing is, it's great coffee. Don't me great coffee. But they were sending me coffee for free. But the post office were charging me like £87 to go and collect it. You know, I was just like,
jeez.
Yeah, and I was like, what the?
They send it over free, and you would have to pay 87 quid.
They pay for it, yeah. But obviously, I reached out to different companies to try and get involved with my veterans clinic, and I had a few get back to me. But one really stood out. Out of the one, I'm not going to mention them, but the one that really stood out was Tactical Coffee, and the blend 1441. I just thought was fantastic. I just went brilliant, and they didn't reach out to me. Sort of reached out, and and I promote them, and I think they're great. You know, any veterans company,
any veteran company, mate. I'm happy to have on the podcast. Like, at the minute, my hat is the red coat. I love those fucking guys.
Red Coat Apparel.
Yeah,
another great company. Yeah, I've been trying to get one of their hats online for over a month, but they seem to be out of order, or sorry, out of stock. But, So, but there you go. I mean, upstairs I must have.
I've been trying to get one of his T-shirts, and I've got his personal number, and I went, Smudge, can you let me know when it's the Winston Churchill T-shirt that he's had made?
Yeah.
and basically a big picture of Winston Churchill on the back with loads of tattoos and saying victory and all that sort of stuff. I thought, that is a fucking Ali t-shirt. I want it.
Yeah.
Every time I go in there, because I'm a larger male at the minute, I need a large t-shirt, and every time I go on there, they're sold out. And I'm like, Smudge, just send me a text to say when they're in, and I'll. And he's like, yeah, we'll do. I go on the website, sold out still. It's like, fuck's sake.
Exactly, mate. But it just shows you. It just shows you that Smudge, you know, he's got a good company. They do good stuff.
Oh, definitely.
I've been trying to get those hats for a while, but we'll see. They'll come back in eventually. I'm just currently waiting on. In fact, Brian Woods just sent me. I've got a couple of hats coming from him and the pop, so it should be here next couple of days. Just keep attacking stuff.
Awesome.
Yeah, not bad. Brian's working hard, but you've also got.
Yeah, I'm a sucker for the trucker. It's my favourite, and I told Smudge that because I'm a sucker for hats. So any hats you've got, I'll probably buy it. And he was like, "Yeah, definitely. Cheers, mate. Definitely." I was like, "Yeah."
Jordan Wiley's got a good hat. Jordan Wiley does a lot of stuff for charity. Good veteran, an adventure type guy, and he does. He had hats made for his Road Dangerously thing that he did, and I managed to get one of them, which is it's a nice hat. So Graves page up the stairs. So I wear that the old time as well. I've got about, I don't know, maybe 30, 40 hats.
Yeah, I'm very similar. My missus is like, "Why have you bought another hat?" Because I like fucking hats.
Yeah.
And because you're a hairdresser that doesn't cut my hair.
That's not good.
Yeah, I know. Tell me about it. So she obviously does all her family in that. Cuts their hair. Obviously does all her clients. Obviously because they pay. I'm always the last in line, and I'm like, any chance of having a haircut and a little bit of a beard trim? Because one, my beard doesn't grow properly, so it needs to be trimmed. Otherwise, I look like a proper hobo. And she's like, yeah. And then I end up looking like a hobo. And then she goes, "You need a haircut." I'm like, "I've been telling you that." I was winding up the other day. I told her I was going to shave the cheeks and trim the side. And I was like, "I'm just going to have the tash." And she went, "You can't just have a tash." I was like, "I can." She went, "You'll look like your dad." I went, "It's not a problem. People say I look like him anyway, so it's fine." Modern world problems.
Yep. I've got my friend back beside me.
Yeah. Is the boy back, is he?
Oh, yeah.
Mate.
A good boy. Yeah.
My brother's got dogs. So we've got my dad, my mum and dad split up. So my dad still does see. He's in London. So when he goes home, he lives with me. So my brother's got my dad's dog, his name's Jerry. He's a Springer Collie Cross. He's lovely. He's the best dog ever. I love him to bits. He's like my brother. When I go home, because they live fucking the other side of the country to me. When I go home, he still remembers me, obviously. He comes over in his sideways. But my brother, for some reason, decided to get himself an Alaskan Malamute called Jack.
Right.
He is fucking massive. He's pretty much as tall. I'm about 5'6", maybe 5'7" at a push. When he goes on his hind legs, he's as tall as me.
Yeah.
Just fucking massive. But he is as soft as shit. He's lovely. He's the kindest ever. And he's brilliant. So whenever I face on my brother, just for mental issues. I'm sure he won't mind. And you can sort of see Jack in the background, and you just make the wolf howling noises, just going, and he starts howling back at you, and it's like, that dog knows. He knows, but he's brilliant. And it's quite funny because my eldest can be a little bit of it. I'll probably say nervous more than scared. She's more nervous if Jerry, who well, he wouldn't hurt anyone. But she loves Jack. Like, Jack actually looks like a wolf. She's like, yeah, but he's so soft and lovely. It's like, fucking hell. What breed is yours?
Mine. No, it's a mixture between a Lhasa and a Shih Tzu.
The reason why I said he seems quite hairy. Makes sense.
Yeah.
You're a lovely dog, though, mate. Lovely dog.
He's sitting sleeping beside me. Just sitting chilling.
That's awesome. I need that. I need that in my life. I'm gonna go out. Well, I'm gonna go demand a dog.
Yeah.
I've had a whiskey. So, quick one, Trev. Whereabouts in Northern Ireland are you from originally?
East Belfast, on Donald side, which has quite quiet, very quiet part of Northern Ireland actually. Quite chilled out. But I left there in 1994 and moved to join the army, so I haven't really been back that much. I used to go back more when I was younger, but not in the last 10 years. Not really.
I'd love to go back because my granddad is originally from Belfast. I'm not 100% sure whereabouts.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, the Thompson side of the family then from Belfast. I'd love to get in touch with the Irish side of my family. Like I said, my dad's side of the family, they don't really talk much about my granddad, which is a shame. It really is. It wasn't until my nan's latest birthday where they actually got photo albums up, and I saw pictures of my granddad in the Air Force. It's like, I've never seen. Why have you never shown me these? And they're like, oh well, we forgot we had them. It's like, oh, fuck off. But yeah, it's like my mum's side, they're Welsh, so I hear it. They don't stop talking, do they? The Welsh. So I know that side of the family, but yeah, on the Irish side of my family. So, for example, model name is James, which comes from great uncle Jimmy, who's Irish. And I was like, I've never met him, and they're like, oh, you did? And I was like, when? They're like, oh, when you were christened. That doesn't count, mate.
Oh well.
And to be fair, I've always wanted to go and visit, but I've always had like people sort of putting me off a little bit. They're like, well, you served in the military, you've got military tattoos, you might get hurt. And it's like, really? That can't be. I'm sure I'll be fine.
It's not that bad. Jesus, it's not that bad. It's changed Belfast. It's changed massively. It looks fantastic now. I mean, the amount of development that's happened, it's a completely different city than it was 20 years ago. It's completely changed what it is now. It looks beautiful. A lot of investment in there.
I'd love to go over to Ireland. I would. It's so, like sort of a dream of mine to go over because obviously I've got family over there and I've never been. Mad.
Yeah. You'd love it. You'd enjoy it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's gonna be done.
Yeah. Yeah. Why not?
I can't be sitting drinking whiskey in my shed all the time, can I?
No, you can't. You've got to go. You've got to go and relax. Got to get out.
Yeah.
Oh, well, buddy,
100%.
I am going to have to shoot. Actually,
100%, mate. I was literally taking up enough of your time.
oh mate, I've got to go and do. I've got to.
It's been an
I've still got to
absolute
meet.
privilege to have you on the show, though.
Thank you, appreciate it, buddy. Let me know whenever you like. 10% left on my computer as well. Let me know when you send me the link and I'll share it as well, buddy. All right?
Yeah, definitely. Will do, mate. As soon as it's set to go, I'll send you a link and it will get posted out, mate.
Brilliant. Well, enjoy your night. Thanks for having me on. It's been great chatting to
Happy
you.
days.
But
I
yeah,
will, mate. Thank you very much for coming on. It's been an absolute honour and a privilege.
Thank you. Take care. I appreciate it. See you soon.
Yeah, see you soon, mate.
See you soon,
Speak
buddy.
soon.